Hello and happy Sunday and good morning. How are you guys? I am here live streaming again from Sunset Beach to go over day 6 of our Tricksmas countdown. Before we get started, let me know if you can see and hear me just right before I go over what today's trick is. Just want to make sure that I am streaming live into the group. Perfect. So if you've been watching, this is day 6. This is the 6th trick. That means we are about halfway done. So if you have been working on those tricks at home, send me a message. You can post something in our group. Some of you have taken some great videos, some pictures, and it's really making me feel good about doing this. So thank you guys a lot. If you are just now coming into the group and you're missed the first few days, don't worry. Most of the videos are tagged and pinned to the top under featured. So you can always check them out later, or you can check out our YouTube channel, and I'll drop the link in a little bit, in which there you'll see all of the videos are put together on a playlist. It's the Canine Learning Academy is on YouTube. All right, so today's trick is pretty simple one, and it's called jump over my knee. Now, this trick is suitable for dogs. Pretty much I want to say all dogs can do this because you don't necessarily have to jump, but they should know how to follow a lure or target. The very beginning part of this trick is making sure the dog feels comfortable with being around you, because you're going to be having them go over your leg. The type of flooring that you use for this trick is you want to make sure that it is padded and that it's not a place where they put their paw down and they're going to slip. So no tile or wooden floor. If you do, you want to use a yoga mat. You can lay that yoga mat down and you'll be sitting right in the middle, because they'll be going from one side to the other. Now, when you first start off with this trick, I would just use a single leg versus putting your feet together. I'm going to do a live demonstration if my pup here, Bandit, wakes up. They're all kind of napping. I've got 3 pups here from 2 of them here for board and train, and the other one is Wrigley, who, if you guys remember her, she's a tiny little Bernedoodle, but they are all resting right now. But Bandit is right here with me, so we'll see if he'll get up in just a second. So flooring. Yoga mat works really well, even like 2 bath mats on each side. Make sure, again, that they don't slip. If you have issues getting all the way down on the floor, you can start off this trick with some kind of like a PVC pipe, something hollow, and just have your dog jumping over or walking over like a Cavaletti style kind of walk over. So this trick actually encourages a greater active range of motion in the muscles, strengthening a greater range, especially in the hind and front legs. So they're having to bend their elbows, right, to go on over your leg. In addition, it's just body awareness and joint position sense that are challenged by stepping over your knee. So that's why I like to go really slow at the beginning. Making sure that the dog is aware of what their back paws are doing. A lot of times if we move too quickly through a trick, the dog just does it because they're following the food, right? So it's important to go really slow with this one and allow the dog to want to do this and be comfortable doing it versus forcing. Now, there's been a lot of posts lately about puppies doing, some crazy tricks. And to be honest, when your puppy is really young, it's really important to build a relationship and go slow so that they're aware of what their body's doing and they're wanting to do it. And that's why yesterday's trick of shaping, going in a box is a lot different than using a lure. So the difference between using a lure and asking your dog to target, or if you want to shape a behavior, is with the lure, a lot of times the dogs will do something because they're just following the food, which is fine to do at the very beginning when you're getting them to get comfortable with something. But eventually, what I find with a lot of pet parents that start with the lure is that they have a hard time getting the food out of their hand. So if your dog has got targeting or following a target, you're skipping a few steps, because typically if you're bringing a treat to your dog's nose and you're guiding them into a position, dog's following the food. And then after you've got them following the pattern or going into a certain position and you're marking and rewarding through lots of repetitions, you pretend that your hand is the same way. So they're still thinking they're following food, right? And then now you've got the behavior on just a hand gesture. Well, a dog that knows targeting, that knows how to nose target to your hand or to a target stick, they're skipping that luring. They're understanding that they are going to follow this target and they're going to try to figure out what the pattern is that you want them to do. So in today's trick, again, it is fall or jump over my knee. I'm going to start off with bandit. So I'm going to start on the floor. One thing is if you've got a dog that is really interested in the food and they end up going across your knee by going around instead, it's a good idea to put the end of your feet on something so that they're having to make a decision to either go over or not go over. All right, so I'm going to show you this trick, and I'm going to show you with a couple toys. So I like to use 2 toys when I'm training with a bandit versus just one. And I'm going to, oops, I got the squeaker toy up. Oh, yes, I do. All right, let me pull this. You ready, buddy? Okay. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to sit with my feet out like this. Typically, I will start with just one leg out like this. I'm going to have to take off these headphones for a second. Okay, guys, just a second. All right, so I'm going to have him just follow the toy across. Hey, 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 hey. Just go across. Hey, guys. Bandit. Just go across. There we go. Good. Yes. Play. Just get it. Go across. Good. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Bring it back. Very nice. Good. Very nice. You saw a little hop over there. Good. Very good. Very nice. Nice. All right. Good boy, Novice. Good boy. Good boy. All right. So when you first start off with this trick, you'll notice he hesitated at the very beginning. Wasn't quite sure what I was doing. I like to use the outside hand. Now, typically when you're luring or when you're guiding a dog to go into position, the hand closest to your dog is where you're going to put treat to the nose, and then you're going to guide them across, right? And I typically will stick my finger out because that'll eventually be the gesture. Now, when we're asking the dog to go over, eventually we want to use the outside hand. So if this is your dog here, we want to use this hand to go over. But at the beginning, you might be passing right from here to here and then marking and rewarding on the other side. If your dog loves toys like Bandit does when he's awake, you could simply toss the toy to the other side, but it's going to get them to move really, really fast. And so what I'm saying is go slow at the very beginning and get your dog to walk across and pick up their knees as they pick up their feet, which bends their knees and it gets the body completely moving versus just tossing it over. So once your dog is walking over pretty comfortably, then you can start to add a little more gesture. So I'm going to take this out of my hand and I'm just going to simply use a hand gesture versus a toy lure. Okay. So food in your hand first if you're using a lure, right? And then you're going to get rid of the food in your hand and you're basically going to use just a hand or finger gesture. From there, you're going to mark and reward on the other side. So as soon as your dog goes across, you mark and reward. But let's say you have a dog that's just not comfortable being around your leg, then any new prop, anytime you're introducing a prop, in this case, your leg as a prop, then I would do the same thing that we did with the box. You know, sit down on the floor and sprinkle some treats or place some toys around your body and get your dog comfortable with being near you first before you ask your dog to walk across your legs. All right. So let me get going with Bandit and then I will come back and check in. So this is our second repetition. All right, Bandit, let's go. Ready? I'm going to make sure I have plenty of room. I'm going to take the hand toys out of my hand and just use the hand gesture. Good. Let's play. Let's play. Good. Okay, ready? This way, Bandit. Get over. Yes. Good. That's a good boy. Nice. Good. That was a very nice job. So you notice if I swipe pretty quickly, he's going to jump over even more versus walking over. So watch the difference between this hop over. Okay, hop. Ah, wow, you're so strong. You're so big. And the walking over. Wait, hold on. Let's walk over. There we go. There we go, silly boy. Silly boy. All right. So once you've got him going over, you can then begin to use hand gestures only. And from that point, then you can put it on a verbal cue. So our verbal cue is, Bandit, ready? Over. Good boy. Yeah, this kid. Good boy. Bring it back. Bring me back that toy. Over. Good. That's a good boy. I like that one. All right. All right. So let me go, because he's skipping quite a few steps because he knows this one. But let me go over some of the steps if you're writing this down in a notebook. So step one, get your dog comfortable with being near your body, whatever you're going to use. In this case, I'm using my legs, right? It's called jump over my knee. First is getting your dog to walk across over. So you can use a lure or you can have them follow a target. You saw me using toys as my lure across, and I'm keeping it really close and staying with my dog so that he is walking across. So you're going to do that a few times to get that motion. If you'd like, you can use the hand closest to your dog and then pass it to the other hand. Ideally, you're just using the outside hand to get them across. So if you are using food on step 2, then step 3 is to get the food out of your hand and just have a hand gesture of some kind. All right. From there, step 4 would be to get the food out of your hand, because later on we've got jump through my arms, right? It's going to be a trick that you guys are going to have in this 12 series. And in order for you to put your hands like this, you're not going to be able to give a hand gesture. So if you can get that jump on a verbal cue, that's going to save a lot of time. So once you've got them jumping over your knee with the hand swipe, simply just say your verbal cue, 1 second, wait. And then if they don't do it on the verbal cue, then go ahead and give them that hand gesture. Now, by saying your verbal cue and then giving them just a second to process it, sometimes they'll go because they've been doing it a few repetitions. If they do, give them a big, huge mark and reward. You can even add extra praise and stuff, but definitely let them know that that's exactly what you wanted. Once you have it on a verbal cue, then you're going to simply say your cue first, wait, and then see if they go over. And every once in a while, you might have to come back to using that little hand gesture. All right. So that is jump over my knee. Now, let's say you have a puppy, a senior, or a dog that has had injuries and some, in the hind legs. This is not an exercise that's appropriate for them as far as jumping. Keeping them going, walking across, ask your vet if that's okay. If they're walking, if they're able to walk, this is a really good exercise, again, to start moving the lower body. I guess that's all, their lower body, picking up their legs to come over your legs. Now, once you are good with that one, you can get a little bit higher and higher. I'm just going to show you. I don't know if I'm going to see if Bandit wants to do this, but I'll typically start off with just on my knees. I have the flexibility to do that, but you can always sit on a table or an ottoman and then extend your legs that way, right? So I could be sitting here, and if I was sitting on a chair, and I can simply just put my leg out like that, which will be my next step. So for me, I'm going to take one leg and put it out here, and then I'm going to come up to my knee, and this is just a little higher, and then I'll bend. All right, so I'm just going to show you a few steps with Bandit. Let's see if he is feeling it. Okay, ready, Bandit? Do you want some food, buddy? Do you want some treats? Oh, you're going to take one. Okay. All right, so we'll start here. Over. Yes, very nice. Over. Yes. We've been working on under. Let me pull this up just a tad bit higher. Ready? Over. That's under. Over. Yes, very good. All right, like always, any jumping exercise, be careful how high you're having your dog jump. It's not necessary to have them jump very high, and be aware of where they're landing and what it's like, when they land. So using a yoga mat, bath mats, and things like that, make it as padded as possible. This flooring, by the way, is just those blocks that you put together. And typically I'll lay a carpet over it. But this is sometimes where I'll do the training, where I have downstairs in my garage, big piece of rubber that it's good for workouts and for your dog. All right, guys. So that was it. Please give that trick a shot. This was day 6. Once your dog is jumping over, remember you can extend your leg. You can begin to bend your knee. In the grass is another good place. If you've got like a big field and you've got some grass for your dogs to jump over, but be sure that you keep those repetitions nice and short. I would say just a couple repetitions and then take a break. I think we did a total of maybe 8 to 10 reps in that whole series that I did with him. So not a lot of reps. Take your time, doing this trick, get it on a verbal cue. Our verbal cue is just over. That seems to work out really well for me. And I can use that cue. You'll see it later on when we do all of the jump through my arms. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. You take care. And if you have any questions, just post it right here, wherever you're watching this. I am coming back around, taking a look at some of your comments, pictures, and videos. All right, have a good Sunday. Bye.